The numbers say that about 6 to 7% of us in the population are truly entrepreneurs. We can handle the risk, the scarcity, the craziness, the chaos, all the problems, the shenanigan fest that happen every single day, dealing with people, dealing with money, trying to make things happen. We're positive attitude. We go get things done. We never see the negative side of stuff. We always find a way to overcome. There's not a lot of us. And one of the things that I think has happened over the last few years is we've made entrepreneurship super sexy and made everyone think that it's for them. I do want you guys to realize that it may not be for all of you, and that's okay. One of the really cool things you guys are going to have an opportunity to do that I didn't is to find businesses to take over, find businesses to buy, find businesses to be a partner with. One of the things you guys are really good at that my generation, Gen X, was terrible at is working together. In my generation, we wanted to crush each other's soul and make more money than each other and make everybody else look terrible. You guys work together greatly. I can take 3 or 4 of you and outwork a group of 10. You guys are awesome at communicating and talking to each other and getting things done and collaborating. So I encourage you to think about that as you begin your entrepreneurship journey. The hardest part of this is getting started. It's damn near impossible. Everything is stacked against you. It's really hard to do. Getting that first sale and that first product and that first cash flow, those first employees, all of that's damn near impossible. So I encourage you, if there's an opportunity, buy it, take it over, get seller finance, partner with somebody, find a boomer that wants out and their kids don't want anything to do with the business, and get in there and help them. The guy in the back, if your parents and grandparents and all of them are entrepreneurs, you should be involved in that company, man. It's already started. The hard part's out of the way. Maybe you can bring in some new technology or some new ideas and make it go even bigger and faster and stronger. You guys get what I'm putting down there? It's really hard to get started. Doesn't mean it's impossible. There's only a few keys to business. They're pretty easy, but it is a lot of work. And I think that's one of the things that's not glorified on TikTok and not shown out there on Instagram is the hard part of getting that business going. You guys see these people that, oh, I made 22 million in 2 years with 48 bucks to start. Well, you didn't see the 98 hours a week that they put into it. They didn't see the moments when they, didn't eat, didn't have money, didn't know what they were going to do, all that kind of stuff. Is that about right? Is that kind of the experience you guys have seen online? I got a few heads nodding. So first thing before we even get rolling is look for the opportunity to buy, take over, seller finance, or partner with someone. Ask yourself, are we stronger together than we are apart? Now, some people get into entrepreneurship just because they want to be their own person. You can still be your own person and set your own hours and do your own thing with partners, with people that make you better. The key is finding a few of you that work well together, right? That complement each other's strengths and handle each other's weaknesses. That's kind of a key part of it. If you're the salesperson, find a technical person. If you're the technical person, find a salesperson. If you suck at finance, find somebody that's good at that and put groups together. That makes sense for all you guys? Now, the other part of you that try to get into entrepreneurship, you're going to end up starting a company and you're going to create a job. You're not going to have a company. Okay. You have a company if you can leave for 2 months and come back and it's still there. Like I leave next Wednesday for Mexico. I'm going to a big business conference. There's 70 business people. We're going to be down there 2 or 3 weeks. I may or may not come back after that. I might stay another week. My business will still be here. It'll still be running. It'll still be making money. I've got a great leadership team, great staff, great people in place. So I actually have a business. Now, 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. I was the main engineer. I was the one with all the licenses. All the work went through me. Every main proposal had to have me look at it beforehand. So I couldn't leave. I actually had a job. And as you guys start looking, you guys have heard of bizbuysell.com. Check that out. That's a great place to start looking at businesses that are for sale. A lot of them are going to be crappy Subways and stuff like that. Subway's famous for setting it up just right where you can't quite have enough money to hire a manager, so you get stuck as the owner slinging sandwiches all the time. And you might make $120K, but it's basically a glorified job. You almost have to own 4 or 5 of them to be able to afford a manager so that you don't have to work in them. Hopefully that made sense for you guys. So back to the beginning, look for partnerships and those kind of things. And then I'm going to stop for a second, take a question or two on that, and then we can kind of get into how to get started in a business. All right, so for me, there is massive opportunity in North America right now. Everything that went to China is coming back. We're the only place in the world with millennials. We're the only place in the world where the demographics are not garbage. We're the only place in the world that might have enough young people to keep things going. So everything is coming back and being rebuilt. We have to double our industrial base in this country in the next 5 to 10 years. We've got to double our power plants. We've got to get rid of the Jones Act so we can move cargo on rivers and build out Ohio and the entire Mississippi River Valley. So what I'm getting at is the technical side, welding, fab shops, buildings, constructions, building out Amazon fulfillment centers, all of that stuff. There's massive opportunity right now, and there's no one to do it. Now, you don't need to be an engineer or a technician to be able to do that. You could be a liberal arts major if you found a fab shop that you could help them run better and keep the people welding. Maybe you can come in and help them with their sales and their marketing. Maybe you can come in and set up operations and systems for them. There's massive opportunity right there. So if I was starting from where you are, I would look for some opportunities in that area, because just for instance, the demographics are very bleak. There are very few engineers. We probably get a client every month for their engineer died. Didn't retire, he died. He's not here anymore. There aren't any people to replace them. Gen X, we were the smallest generation to ever come through. There aren't any of us. So there's no one, we're not there to help replace all these boomers that are retiring. So the opportunity is there for you. And I encourage you to look in the technical trades, because there's a lot of money there. If you're talking about oil and gas and manufacturing and all those kind of things, massive amounts of money. We have a project we got in this week. We're getting 80 grand handed to us to redo something someone's already done. It'll take us maybe a week, maybe a few hours. They just throw money at you. So there's opportunity out there is what I'm getting at. So if I was looking anywhere, I think it would be there. And it's for two reasons. One is the opportunity, and the second is we need it badly. This country needs industrial backbone. We don't have welders, pipe fitters. We don't have people to make stuff. All you guys heard probably your whole life is how blue collar is bad, and you got to go to college so you can get a great degree and get a good job and make lots of money, right? And now that you're about to graduate and you're finishing up your degree, is it great out there? No, like rent's like $4,000 a month. A hamburger's $22. It's like $50 to go out, right? Things are kind of bleak if you actually run the numbers. Are you guys with me on that? Y'all agree, disagree? I don't know what it's like where you're at. Yeah, it sucks, right? It's not the dream that we promised it was going to be. A lot of people that are getting degrees and coming out, there's nothing for them to do. Who here has student loans? And those suck, right? And then you'll pay like $1 billion to pay those off over the next 20 years, right? So there's a lot of things that you were told that aren't there as you're coming out now. Inflation and costs and all those kind of things have gotten massive. But on the flip side, there's now awesome opportunity, because all that inflation and those kind of things are going to drive up the prices and the needs for things in the technical sector. So that's one area I would look. The second is I would look around in my network of people I knew, and I would say, who's someone that I respect that has an amazing business that's old as hell and is looking to retire or get out? So like the guy a minute ago, if your grandfather and dad are running the business and they're getting up there, what's the succession plan? Like, what are they going to do when they're gone? And that's a great intro to get into those spots, because there's a lot of businesses that the people's kids don't want anything to do with. For those of you that had parents that run businesses, do you want to run your parents' business? Maybe. Yes, I got one nod, yes. I can see half the room, so I don't know what's going on in the other half. A lot of times... Well, like I grew up in my dad's small business. He was a home builder, and there's no way in hell I would have ever stayed to take over his business. It was miserable. I mean, it was, I worked all the time. That's the only choice I had. Someone asked me when I was like 8 or 9 years old, hey, you're going to take over your dad's business one day. And I was like, fuck no, this is bullshit. I'm going to college. Like, I'm out of here, right? And sorry, was somebody asking a question? All right, gotcha. But there's a lot of that going on right now. There's a lot of boomers kids who have no desire to take over their business. Now, what's interesting is in the last like crash of the economy, COVID, all those kind of things, a bunch of people actually went back. And I'll give you an example. We were putting together a group of fab shops, and we were talking to 8 or 10 of them, and we were going to try to buy them all at once and roll them up into a larger entity. And what was cool was most of the ones we looked at while we were in the middle of the deal, COVID was happening, their kids started coming back and taking interest in the business again. So again, there's opportunity there is what I'm getting at. So I would look for those two things. One would be something in the technical sector, and the other would be if there's a business owner that I know, that I have some respect for, that I know is doing good in the world, I would go talk to them about, do they have a succession plan, and could you come in and help them take it further? Outstanding question. Okay. So this goes into, you've got to set clear expectations from the beginning. So we've all heard that 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? But if you remove certain segments of that, like if they, are Christian with kids and this and that and the other, like you can demographically break it down to subgroups of that where 80 to 90% of those marriages survive. So let's just take that same thinking into businesses for a minute. 50% of them may go south, but if you pick the right partner, that you have the right alignment with, that you have the same philosophies, that has the same outlook on life, that it has the same answer to what is your why. If all of those things align and they complement you, then that could be a good partner. It's one of the hardest parts of doing what I was recommending. It's figuring out who can you get a good deal with. Because here's another problem that occurs. Everyone thinks their business is worth more than it's worth. Anybody want to disagree with that? Because they're going to try to sell you the business as they see it's going to be in 3 years. But you're learning in this class and hopefully some accounting classes and maybe some heading toward your MBA classes that all that matters is what's been done and what's current, right? You can't pay for future. You're paying for what has occurred. So if the EBITDA is only a certain number, you can only have a certain multiple of that, right? Doesn't matter what you think it's going to be. Or if the owner's like, hey, if you just did this and doubled your business, this would be worth $10 million. Yeah, dude, but it's not. You're doing $700K a year and you're the only person here. So if I use a 0.7 multiple, your place is worth less than $500K. And what's going to happen? They're going to get all angry because now you've personally attacked their business, right? So these are things you've got to learn to come in with a better attitude toward. Remember, the first question I came in with a minute ago was, hey, what's your succession plan and how do we keep this business going beyond you, right? And I'll give you a good example. I was actually on the phone with a potential merger that I'm talking to another engineering firm with yesterday. We had talked 7 years ago, and he was exactly what I was just saying, very angry about how I told him what his business was actually worth, and had no desire to then even talk to me again. Well, now 7 years later, he's called me back, and the discussion now is about how does he continue the business? How does he keep it going? How does he make sure his employees have somewhere to work after he's gone? Like, he's come to the realization that there needs to be legacy behind him in succession. So I think if you go into it with that clear from the beginning, that, hey, I'm here to keep the name of the business going, to keep your employees going, and we're going to slowly work your way out of this. It's just like dating, right? If you have communication and clarity and you align and you think the same, then there's a better chance of that relationship fostering, right? Now, there's other things that you can do. You're going to get more people involved. You're going to get the accountants involved. You're going to get the lawyers involved. You're going to write up a really good operating agreement. Write this one down. Make sure you have a shotgun clause. Anybody know what a shotgun clause is? Have y'all not covered this in entrepreneur class? David, come on now. You got to get to work. You got to teach them what a shotgun clause is. So it's a really cool clause that you can put in a business agreement between partners where if you guys get to the point where you can't reconcile your differences, then one of you puts an offer on the table. Hey, I will buy you out for X and I will get Y. And then your other partner gets to choose to either accept it or make you accept it. And it makes it really easy now, right? One way or the other, we're breaking up, but it's got to be a good deal for both of us. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to go into litigation. Some people are just assholes. But hopefully you've whittled those out on the front end and have put enough protections in your operating agreement that you can get away and get out of those things. The other is you're going to learn that from experience sometimes. You might have to get burned a couple times. I'm on my second marriage, and it's amazing. The first one was really good, but it had some problems, and I learned from it. So it's the same thing in business deals. You know, your first one or two. Like right now, you guys should be practicing. Hopefully 5 businesses have started while you've been doing this class. Because you guys should partner, even if it's to turn $1 into 2 and write up articles of incorporation and practice all this so that you start to learn what's important with people and the psychology of people and how people work together, right? Because you'd rather get in a big argument over a $400 business than a $4 million business. Really good question, though, and there's not a simple answer for it. I think the thing to really push for is just clarity between the partners. Make sure you align. Make sure that both of you answer the question, what is your why, similarly. Make sure you have similar paths, and then give yourself some outs in your operating agreement. Next question. Well, you've got a couple. So it's like stocks. If the janitor starts telling you about it, you should have been out of it already. Okay, so what's hot right now? Oh, I'm going to be an influencer and start a YouTube channel and make millions of dollars. Well, YouTube and everywhere else, IG, have already cut all the rates and things that you can make money on as an advertiser. So a lot of that wild west of money to be made is gone. You'll have the gurus online teaching you how to start a coaching business. Okay, well, if everybody's a coach, how's anybody going to make any money? It just sounds like Herbalife at that point, right? If you're hearing it everywhere from everybody and everyone's popping up with a course of how to do it instead of showing you they've done it, that's probably not the thing to get into. The Amazon FBA ship has sailed if you're trying to do it individually. You need to buy it as a bigger markup and look for bigger companies if you're going to go that route. There is opportunity. It's just moved further along. All of those are way overhyped. If each of you are setting up a studio at your house to become an influencer, to think you're going to make millions of dollars showing the next dress or the next, Stanley Cup or whatever it is, or being an influencer, that ship is long gone. I got some smiles in the front row. Are you an influencer? I hope I just didn't hose your whole business right there. Yep. I think those are gone. The ones that are not hyped right now, and I'm actually going to give quite a bit of credit to Cody Sanchez. Do you guys know who Cody Sanchez is? If you don't, she's got a ton of content out there right now. It's her life's mission to show you that you can buy a business, start a business, take over a business, seller finance, and it doesn't have to be sexy. It could be a laundromat. It could be selling batteries. Like, think about, as you drive back to the dorm or walk, through town later today, look around at all the businesses around you and ask yourself, what are they making a year and who owns them? And are they complicated? Like, there's probably a spot down the street that's got a little cafe that's been there for 25 years. Do you think that's a complicated business? Not really, right? Just make the same recipes and do the same stuff over and over again. You can make a lot of money there. Well, some of you may say, well, I'm not interested in owning a restaurant. Well, maybe you aren't, but maybe owning that restaurant helps you do what it is you want to do. Like, maybe you want to help kids and be a counselor. Well, you're going to make $22K and work for the government and starve to death, right? But if you own 5 laundromats and a restaurant and they help you pay for what it is you want to do, now you can make an impact in the world. So I encourage you guys, the overhyped are the influencers, the online, the coaching, all of that garbage. That's gone. Okay, don't waste your time. It's hard to get traction there because there's so many other people around you, right? Look for the areas that other people aren't going into, the less sexy stuff, the selling ladders. Friend of mine, he and his wife were both engineers. They both quit engineering and took over a landscaping company in Denver. Do you think landscaping is complicated? I mean, no. Set up an iPad with a routing system, hire a couple of dudes and get some mowers and maintain them, right? That's not hard. Now they're making more money than they could have ever made in their career in engineering just running a landscape business. And now they travel the world and do cool stuff. So that's what I'm getting at, is look for those things that others aren't excited about. And that's back to the very first thing we talked about. There are thousands of boomer businesses closing every day because there's no one to take them over. And while their business may not be perfect, you might be able to put a couple of them together into something cooler. Really good question. Keep hitting me. What you got? Okay. So is your question, what's more important, partners or employees? I think what's more important first and overall is the value proposition of the business and the gross margin of the base product. Like, is there a market for it? Does it serve a particular customer avatar well? And can you make money at it? Okay, if that works, now let's go, okay, do I need partners and other people to make this work? Maybe I'm not a finance person. I need someone involved. Do I make them a partner or do I hire them? And some of that just comes with who you can find, right? So I encourage you guys to be making lots and lots of connections. A minute ago, David said some of you guys may not know each other in the class. That's ridiculous. Like, stand up and when class is over and introduce yourself to 5 people. Like, you guys should all be connected to each other on LinkedIn. You should all be talking about what it is you're trying to do. You guys should probably start 3 or 4 businesses tonight. Like, I encourage you to do that. And the answer to your question is it kind of depends on what comes along, right? Because you're never going to find the perfect partner or the perfect person unless you've already been looking for them. So these are just pieces of the puzzle, in all honesty, to put together. You can make a business that doesn't necessarily even need employees, whereas you have other businesses that the employee is all that matters, so they're going to be the most important part. And I'll come back to the example I had a minute ago. I was talking to this company that we're looking at buying that's an engineering company. Most people would focus on the owner who has all of the PE licenses and is the main focus and the main sales guy and the main person people talk to. I don't even want to hear what he has to say. The only person I care about is the main operations lady who makes everything run. She's the one that assigns all the tasks to the sub-staff. She's the one that brings it in from the customer. She's the one that's moving the money around. Because I know I can do the other parts. I've got 5 or 6 other PEs and we all have plenty of licenses. So I can replace him very quickly. But I wanted to talk to her immediately. So I spent yesterday talking with her. What do you want to do with this business? Where do you want it to go? What does it look like in 10 years? How do we make it important for you and make your life better and all the people around you, right? Because to me, she's the most important part. And you'll see that in just about any business. It's a great question because what matters is what matters. And I'm kind of being coy with that answer because it's very dependent on what you're looking at. Each business is completely different. Go back to that cafe down on the corner. There's probably a hostess lady and a key waitress that make that place run, right? Those are the people you want to keep. And there's probably a few people in the back that are assholes and don't show up and aren't cool. You want to get rid of them quickly. So the answer to your question is whatever makes the value proposition of that business better and keeps it going for the longer term. Hopefully that made some sense. If not, you can hammer me later. Great question. So I was saying a minute ago, Cody Sanchez probably has 1,000 hours of content on step-by-step, literally how to do that exactly. The gist of it is it's time to start looking around. So I was talking with a similar group to you guys the other day, and the challenge I laid down was, okay, I want you to go on Biz Buy Sell this week and make 3 offers. What? I don't know how to do that. Well, of course you don't. Well, what's the offer need to look like? Who knows? Like, just go do it. Like, get to work. Biz Buy Sell is a great spot. The problem is it all runs through brokers. So they like stockbrokers are a waste in the system. Like they are a negative of the system. They take away, they don't provide any value. So business brokers aren't there to help anybody but themselves. So they're a pain in the ass to deal with. But once you get where you can kind of talk to them and get information back and forth, you open up more opportunities because they may help you find a diamond in the rough somewhere. But it's a great place to just go do a quick search. You can search by size, location, industry, and all those kind of things. Pick out 10 businesses and start making calls and make an offer on them. The other spot to go is your network. You know what I was saying a minute ago. Go back to all the people you know, and Silas can speak to the power of this. Send a message to them and don't ask them for help. Ask them if they know someone that knows someone that can help you. Did you guys get what I said there? I'll say it again. Don't ask them, hey, can you help me find a business? Ask them if they know someone that knows someone that has a business. or know someone that you need to talk to. It's extremely powerful. And what's really cool is a lot of times that person will be like, dude, me, like, what the fuck? Like, and they will literally argue with you to help you at that point, right? You're not asking them for anything anymore. They're trying to prove they're worthy of helping you. It completely changes the whole equation of what's going on. But the answer to find these businesses, there's listings and sites, there's Google, there's Craigslist. It depends on your size, right? You can search business brokers for different industries. You can start talking to people, right? Do a search on LinkedIn or Facebook of certain demographics of people and just send messages out to them. I probably get 30 emails a day on people that are trying to buy my business. They don't know it's for sale. Or it's not for sale, but they're still asking, right? It's like those people that put up the I buy ugly houses on the corner. It's the same routine, right? So where do you find them? You get to work looking for them. Now that you know that they exist, don't be denied in finding them. Keep going. So you're asking if I would go around them?
Not go around them, try to work under them to learn how.
Oh, yeah. Great question. So if you're interested in real estate, get to bird dogging. If you're interested in buying businesses and doing mergers and acquisitions, well, who does that? Brokers, buyers, private equity firms do that, right? Who do you know that knows someone in your circle that can introduce you to someone that you go just start working for them? Do like Silas did, right? He and I had a conversation. He told me, hey, I'm coming to work for you. And I told him, absolutely not. I don't have a spot. And he's like, no, dude, I'm coming to work for you. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And he finally said, fuck you. I start on May 15th. And so that's how Silas got his job. And he worked for us all summer and absolutely crushed it. We didn't want him. We didn't need him. We fought him off. But hey, he wouldn't take no for an answer. So your question is, the answer to your question is, yeah, absolutely. Anyone that's in that arena, go start doing stuff with them. Take them to lunch. Have a beer with them. See if you can show up and sweep the office and just listen to what they're saying. Mergers and acquisitions is a great spot. Private equity is a great spot. Business development companies is a great spot. Business brokers is a great spot. Reach out to them. If you see a name down in the corner of a business you like on BizBossSell, reach out to the guy and say, hey, I want to be your apprentice. How do I get started?
What are your thoughts on that?
So again, if everyone's telling you to do it, what does that probably mean?
It's oversaturated.
Probably a little too late, right? Now, and I have quite a few friends in my business group. I have a good friend named Steve. At one point or another, we mapped it all out. At one point or another, not all at the same time, he owned 90% of all the rental property in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, that was at one time or another, not all at once, but he literally owned everything that was there. He's telling me right now to sit on the sidelines. Just wait. Hold your cash. Things are overvalued. Values are ridiculous. Financing sucks. Wait for it to crash. At some point it will, and then that's when you step in. You make your money when you buy. You don't make your money when you sell. So for me, there's opportunity in real estate because, for instance, all of this commercial property is about to convert to residential. So there's opportunity there to bird dog and find those locations and get people out of leases and clear out buildings so they can be converted. There's still money being made. A good friend of mine just started a company that he takes large pieces of land and breaks them into smaller. And then his cut of the deal is he keeps the nice piece of the chunk, and then all the others get sold off to pay for the deal. And then he builds or develops on that land. There's massive opportunity everywhere. Like I said, there's fewer and fewer people doing it every day. So if real estate excites you, find who's doing it in your area that you have of interest and go work with them. But I also want you to think for a minute about there's what, 5 or 6 megapolises in the U.S. You definitely want to be in one of those megapolises. So like L.A., the Atlanta through Charlotte region, New York, Chicago, all those kind of things. You also very badly let's think about what we were talking about earlier. Industry is about to boom and is booming. So what do we use to get in and out of industry? Ports, right? So Houston, Charleston, Savannah, LA's probably already overdeveloped, right? Any major port on any of the major waterways is a great spot to go looking at real estate because there's going to be build outs. First, they'll build the warehouses, then they'll build the industrial plants, and then they'll build the houses for all the people to live in to work in those plants. So those are great hot spots. There's a great Peter Zahan is a cool person to listen to on the demographic side of this. And I think it was about a year ago, someone had him on a real estate podcast and asked him about locations based on demographics. I'd encourage you to find that podcast and look at those areas, put a pin in the map, and then hit LinkedIn or your network and go, who do I know that knows somebody in Tampa? And then go show your ass up and start working like Silas did. So money is slowly going away over the next 20 years. The boomers are retiring, so all that money we had to invest is going away. And you see that because rates are much higher now because borrowing is now 3x of what it used to be. So there's going to be a lot less money out there. Also, remember that the real value right now in some of this real estate is the current mortgage because it's at like 2 or 3%. So don't be so quick to buy it. Don't be so quick to put money in. See if you can get creative, right? See if you can, there's a guy, I forget his name, but Subject to is his big thing in real estate. He's got a lot of ideas on how to do creative deals with current people that keeps the existing mortgage in place so you don't have to bring any money to the table. So Subject to is his big thing. Where do you find money? Okay, great question. So if I came to you and I said, hey, I've got a deal where if you give me $1,000 next week, I'm going to give you $2,000. Is anybody interested? Okay. And oh, hey, here's 5 people you can talk to that did it with me last week and they can show you their $2,000. Are you now interested? No one's interested? No one wants to make 100% on their money? You should fail everybody immediately, David. I mean, anyone not interested in 100% return that's guaranteed? I'm worried about you guys. All right, anyway. The point being, if you can create the correct deal, money is always available. Okay? If you have no idea, call me. We'll figure it out. I've got poker buddies that have just hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around and they just need a cool story. Right? There's money out there. There's ways to find it. But my first point to answering your question was don't be so quick to put money in. Like, why do you need to put money in? Maybe the seller doesn't want money. Like if you're buying a business, the seller doesn't want all their money up front because it's subject to capital gains at like 30 to 40%. They're going to want a tail out. They're going to break that up smaller over a period of time. They're going to want some guaranteed income with an opportunity to come back for upside. So be more creative in your deal structures. I think the basis of your question is, I don't know how to get started because I feel like I need money to make money, and that's complete bullshit. Listen to Cody Sanchez for 6 minutes. She'll give you 100 different ways that you can take over a business without putting a dime in. So money's not needed. Creativity is what's needed. And more importantly, connections for the opportunities is what's needed. So while you guys hate talking on the phone or talking to people, that's what you need to be doing. Right? I challenge each of you on the way home today, stop someone randomly in the middle of the street and start talking to them. Try it and report back. I guarantee it'll be a good time. You'll meet somebody new, might get punched in the face. You'll at least have a story, right? How much time do I have left, David?
You got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
You tell me, you want to continue with questions or you want to take it?
Yeah, let me preach for a second and then I'll take any final questions. One of the things as a professor that I have heard from you guys over and over and over again, like one of the things I always started my classes with was like, what's killing you right now? What's in your way? What's your obstacle? Do any of you think right now that that is imposter syndrome? Anybody here got imposter syndrome? Don't be afraid to raise your hand. Yeah? Okay. It's very common in your demographic and in your age group. And I'm here to tell you that you can do this. Okay. You may not feel like you can. You may not feel like you're smart enough. You may not feel like you have enough money or know enough people. But if not you, who? There's nobody else. You got to get to work. There is so much opportunity and so many things out here for you to take advantage of. The other thing is you have more knowledge than there's ever been in the existence of the world, right? Can't each of you look something up in about 1/100th of a second on how to do something? Can't you watch a YouTube video literally on how to start a business and here's the 17 steps? There's so much information. The only thing in the way right now is you believing in yourself enough to step over the first pebble that's in your path. And one of the things that I've pushed strongly, I hope all of you jump on my YouTube channel. It's Zane Engineers Life. Zane Engineers Life. Check me out on YouTube. Subscribe, share, help me out, help me spread the word. I put a lot of this out there. You guys have got this. You're good enough. You're smart enough. You're going to fail miserably, and it's going to be awesome. Like, I need you to fail like 100,000 times as fast as possible. I need you to fail so miserably we name it after you, where everybody's like, please don't silence it, right? You guys have got to get out here because there's opportunity and there's people that need your help. There are thousands of boomers that are retiring and have nothing that they can turn their business over to. There are many, many, many people that need the products and the things that these things provide. You guys have got to get out here and create the opportunities. We're telling you to be influencers and sit at home and be gamers and do Twitch and all those kind of things and make billions of dollars. That's bullshit. Like, if you actually go outside, how many people do you actually know that make money doing that? It is an extremely small percent of the population. But if you drive up and down the street, what do you see? Tons and tons of businesses. They're all there. And they don't always do something sexy, but they do stuff that's needed, right? There's opportunity out here. Make it happen. You don't need a certain degree. You don't need money. You don't need to know anybody. You just got to get to work and not take no for an answer. So I encourage each and every one of you, band together, help each other, push each other. How many of you are in an accountability group? Anybody meet with people weekly and really bust each other's ass to get things done? There's a really cool one. Check out the fastlaneforum.com. Fastlaneforum.com. Really cool. One of the better business forums. I'm actually a mod there. My buddy MJ started it like 15, 20 years ago. He's written a bunch of books. He's a best-selling author. Really cool dude. He'll tell you a lot of cool stories about, just get your ass out there and do it. He'll give you a step-by-step for starting your business and all those kind of things. Get out there. There is a thread where a bunch of teenagers under my push, I guess, started a weekly accountability call, and it's kids from all over the globe. There's dudes from Germany, Australia, China. I think they meet at some weird hour on Saturday, so everybody's there. But they are coming in each week and going, here's what I got done, and here's what I think I need to do next week. And they really get into each other. I encourage you to have an accountability group. First, for giving you the positive reinforcement of you're doing cool stuff, thank you, keep going. And second, to make sure you actually do it. Like, if you say you're going to call 3 businesses and make an offer, did you? Last week, a dude whose handle is Subsonic on the forum, he has to do 1,000 push-ups because he didn't go talk with 10 businesses that he was supposed to for the week. So he's either going to get smarter or get stronger, right? So I encourage you guys to work together, push each other. It's a great way to start little groups that eventually could take over a company, right? If a couple of you mesh together well and have offsetting and complementary skills, that might be your first set of partners. So this is what I'm preaching to you. The opportunity's there. You got this. You can do it. If you don't think you can, call me. Reach out to me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Get a couple of you together. Let's do another call. You guys have got this. I'm proud of you. You're going to make it happen.